Good afternoon, Southern California. I'm John Baldwin with John Hart Real Estate, and today is Tuesday, July 19th. We're doing our video on Tuesday this week because there's a bunch of construction going on next to my place. So, with jackhammers and pounding, I thought it was better to record today when there was no noise instead of yesterday when it was literally jackhammers for hours on end. So, with nothing more to say about the jackhammering, let's get into today's topic. What I want to talk to you about today is touching on what I talk about a lot is inventory. But what I want to talk to you really about is pricing strategy. So our inventories are creeping up, and properties are sitting on the market a little longer. And I've seen, and this came up this weekend with a client. He sent me a property that was priced aggressively low. I mean, we're talking like 200K below where it's probably going to sell at least. And what I think this agent did is sort of a hybrid of the model we used for the past couple of years. Let's call that the pandemic pricing model. Now we have, let's call it the post-pandemic, post-COVID pricing model. So we have pandemic pricing and post-pandemic pricing. So during the past couple of years, 2020, 2021, and the first part of 2022, we intentionally price things at the bottom of the range in line with comps, but at the low end to drive traffic and launch that price and to really, get 30% over list price, $500,000 over list price. I mean, we really could just drive the numbers because we had super tight inventory and we could just launch it because interest rates were so low. Now, with interest rates jumping to around 6% now, buyers' payments are anywhere from like 40 to 50% higher than they were just 4 months ago. So this is causing a bit of a slowdown. Now the Fed is trying to get out in front of inflation. I think they're way behind the curve on this one. And this is why, they're trying to aggressively tick interest rates up. But if they had been smart and started ticking up interest rates just a little bit a year ago, I think we would be having a much softer landing right now than what is going to happen. Because what I'm anticipating is recession. I don't anticipate prices going down. From what I can see, I'm still seeing tight inventory. Until we get to a balanced inventory, I don't think we're going to have any downward pressure on pricing. Now, we're still hovering in that 2 to 3 month range of inventory. Inventories are rising as the pool of buyers shrinks because interest rates are going up. But houses are still selling, houses are still, appreciating, and we're back to that more normal 3 to 7%, which I've been saying in like the last several videos. Now, the change in pricing strategy is what you have to think about right now, because again, I saw this one listing that a client sent me this weekend was listed like 200 to 250K below where I think it's going to sell, and that strategy worked really well during the pandemic for the pandemic pricing model. But post-COVID pricing, you need to be accurate. You don't want to go on a fishing expedition and list high to come down, because anytime you list high and you end up chasing the market, and you probably will sell lower than you should have initially. And then conversely, or alternately, right now, you don't want to do the priming of the pump where you price low to go high. You want to be accurate, because you're not going to get the 35 offers on your listing. You may get 3, you may get 5, you may get 7, but you may get 1. And this is the change that you need to think about. You need to be accurate, be in line with your comps, or even a hair below, knowing that you're going to be you still appreciate, but you don't want to hurt yourself by reaching too high and having to chase the market down or anything like that. So the pricing strategy needs to change now. You need to, stop doing, $999, go right to $1 million. Stop doing $649, go to $650. Stop pricing low, stop pricing high. You need to price accurately so that people are looking at it going, yes, that is what it's worth right now. And instead of the speculative, like, how high will it go? Like, I mean, we literally had conversations with buyers over the last couple of years. It's like, all right, we think this can go this far above the comparables, so the market has shifted. I do not foresee a major drop in pricing. What I see is until inventory gets over that 6-month mark, we're going to return to normalcy, a normal appreciation in the 3 to 7% range. I'm guesstimating somewhere around the 5% range, potentially, just under that. So that's what we're looking at. I've seen data pointing to like 4.2, 4.5, all the way up to like 9. So it just depends on which data source you're looking at. But I think the return to the normal range, that 3 to 7%, is what we're looking at. So a return to normalcy is good. A return to normal interest rates is good. But I think the Fed screwed up and they're behind the curve. So they're going to have to get aggressive right now. So let's keep an eye on it. But I want to jump into a little bit more here. So look at some of these headlines, and you can tell this is CNBC.com, and this is one of my main complaints about the media. And because they're trying to drive clicks, they put in sketchy headlines because they're clickbaity and they get the traffic. Housing market continues cool down as new home construction drops. Yes, pool of buyers shrank because interest rates went up. Obvious. People are looking at the overall economy going, hey, I think there's a recession coming. Let's maybe pause our housing surge. I disagree with that strategy. I think you need to get in before interest rates go up even higher. I did an analysis several months ago of like what the cost of waiting could be, and that was just on a 1% interest rate difference. Now let's do that again. If you have a 1% interest rate difference, but your price doesn't change, all that changes is your monthly payment, because you're still going to be paying market value. You're not getting a deal. So, bumpy landing. I think he's talking about they just keep raising interest rates and they're trying to push, or they're trying to push the economy past a recession by kind of just tapping up those interest rates. June housing data report weaker than estimates. Yes, buyers pulled back. Buyers looked at their payments and went, oh my God, what the heck is that? I went from having a $3,500 payment to having a $5,000 payment. Things like that happened all the time. But we're still seeing prices go up. It's just not at the rate they have been for the last couple of years. So, and then here, this is what I like to see. This is a positive headline. Retrofitting the built environment is a $10 trillion a year opportunity. Yes, for all the builders out there, look at all the, fixers out there, all the old homes that you can expand, that you can build on, that you can, especially the 50s and 60s houses sitting on big lots. In LA, a lot of the 50s and 60s houses are still sitting on 9, 10, 11,000 square foot lots, while a lot of the newer constructions are in like the 4 to 6,000 square foot lots. So you have a lot more land to play with. So you can take that little 1,500 square foot house and expand it. So there's a lot of money to be made in that respect. So, price cuts in housing are inevitable. Yes, when you reach too high, you end up having to drop your price. That's why accuracy is the key to this market. I like accuracy to begin with, like, hey, this is what it's worth. These are the comps. This is the data. This is the math. And if the math makes sense, then we're good. The last couple of years has been tough because you're looking at the data going, hey, here's what the data says. And I still think it's going to go way above that. So right now we're looking at, all right, we have normal appreciation. We have a smaller pool of buyers we're competing against, so we can get a better deal, but our interest rate is higher. So that is that's the kicker right now, is you're going to have a higher payment. You can negotiate a little harder on the sellers though, because the sellers are going to have to give a little bit more concession to a buyer than they have for the last couple of years. The last couple of years, you could have a major fixer and you say, I don't care what your repair request says, go pound sand. I've got 10 more buyers lined up. So now buyers can go, hey, Mr. Seller, I know you don't have 10 more buyers lined up. I need the termite work done, or I need the roof repaired, or I need the sewer line free and clear. I mean, there's stuff that we hadn't been able to ask for during the crazy market that we can ask for now. So give me a call, 213-973-3777. Let's talk about your pricing strategy, because pricing strategy is key to this market. You don't want to reach too high and you don't want to price too low. You need to be Goldilocks. You need to price it right. And this is the key. So give me a call, 213-973-3777, and let's get your house sold.